Welcome to the Legends of Iron. I'm John Anderson. Meet my co-hosts Nick Best and Akeem Williams. We're going to have some amazing guests on the show. Buckle up tight because we're going to be talking about the shit you're not supposed to be talking about. We're going to be discussing anything and everything it takes to become a Legend of Iron.
Legends of Iron is brought to you by Muscle Meds. Muscle Meds is the creator of Carnivore Pure Beef Protein Isolate. Beef builds muscle, and Carnivore is the world's #1 selling beef protein.
And don't forget to try our new Carnivore flavor, Rocket Pop.
Oh, damn! Whoa, this is it right here.
Wow, this is protein? Delicious.
This is too good to be protein. Woo, we about to change the game with this one.
You're gonna love it.
Welcome to another edition of Legends of Iron. I'm John Anderson. With me always my partners in crime, Nick Best, who's unavailable today, but we've got Akeem Williams, and we've got a killer guest for you today. He is a pro bodybuilder. He's actually from Japan, so it's going to be really interesting to be able to talk to him about some of the differences in bodybuilding and cultures and all this kind of good stuff. We want to welcome Hidetada Yamagishi. How are you, brother? Welcome to the show, and I hope to God I said your name properly. Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did right. You practice, we practice it enough. Well, thank you. I'm honored to be in your show. It's been a while, seeing you guys, but how you guys doing?
Everything is good, man. On my end, I took a little bit of break from competing. I was scheduled to do the Arnold Classic earlier this year, but I had COVID right around Christmas time, so I kind of shut it down and took a little bit of time to myself, go visit family and stuff like that. So right now, I'm in the process of maybe probably doing Tampa Pro in a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, Tampa Pro. I've been a couple times. I've done a couple times. Yeah, that's a good show. I love that show. I love him too.
It's a good show. Back in 2016, I did it and I won it in 2016.
Oh, cool.
So
cool, yeah.
It'll be cool to go back and win it again.
Right, going back to win again. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. How are you doing, John?
I can't complain, brother. Can't complain at all. Life is good. Obviously, Corona came and threw us all some curveballs, but with everything in life, the tough times create opportunity, and that's the way I've really tried to look at it. So
look at you. I'm like, wow, you look even bigger. What to say? What is it?
I'm actually shit, man. I just turned 50 years old, man. I'm an old man now. God damn, I'll tell you.
Wow, 50. I'll be 49 next month. So, but your motivation. You look great. Even bigger than when you competed. Awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah. I appreciate it. I haven't competed since before Corona.
Right.
I want to come back and compete again. I will. I just don't know. I just, to be totally honest, that with the 2 years that's passed, and you know what it's like. We're almost the same age. You get to a certain point, it's hard to get the body to change like it used to when you're younger. So
yeah.
So I'm going to compete again. I'll just be totally honest. I just don't know if I have it in the tank, or my body is going to take the punishment it takes to get back in the open class. So I may be competing in my age group,
Yeah, so, I anything you say right now sounds not real because you look amazing, So age, I know. I seen you many years, so I kind of know your age, but you are 50. Wow, that's motivation. Thank you for doing it.
I appreciate you, bro. That's really cool, especially coming from somebody like yourself. You've done it, man. Let's talk. We're here to talk about you, brother. You just talk to us from you, obviously from Japan, and I've spent some time over there too. The difference is what is bodybuilding like over there? Obviously I saw it in a little bit. I saw people react to me, but I was there for wrestling. But now bodybuilding, tell us about bodybuilding and the culture of Japan. How does it fit into Japan's culture?
Yeah, okay. Like traditionally, I think I always say you look at the cartoon character, right? So in America, every hero is like muscular.
Yeah.
So Japan is actually going toward that route right now. But when I was kids, all the TV, all the hero was skinny. So I think culture-wise, not just Japan or Asian country. So for example, if you want to be, popular to women, muscular versus skinny. Usually, in Japan or Asian countries, skinny is always win. So, and culture-wise, we are not used to big people like muscular people. We have big people like small wrestlers. So, but all the muscular guys, it's kind of new in Japan. But last 10 years, I think thanks to all these new physique and a bikini, bodybuilding, it's getting really big in Japan. So it helps myself and it helps my business. I have a show. I'm actually going there next week for my show. It's called Hidetada Yamagishi Iris Kaiyo Japan Classic. It's
cool.
It's a pro qualifier, and then we have probably 200 guys competing because Japan is still closed. No foreigner can come in right now. So in that situation, I think 200 competitors is pretty good. So I'm really
absolutely.
Excited.
It's been closed for a while because I actually booked a guest post in there back in 2019, going into 2020, right when COVID hit, and I still haven't been able to go. The promoter is still reaching out to me, trying to see if he could get me to come out there, but like you said, no foreigner could come in.
Yeah, it's hopefully a couple more months.
Well, you know what it is, brother. We got to get you a hook up at the embassy because our last, was it the last show or the show before, a week ago? Within a week, we actually had a show with the wrestler, Chad. Basically, almost said his real name. Chad, his wrestling name is Machine Gun Carl Anderson. He was actually in Japan at the time of the interview on the podcast. So I know New Japan, they've got some pretty good hookups in terms of getting people in and out of the country. So, but I think just like anywhere else, just like anything else in the world, sometimes it's who you know.
Exactly, Yeah, exactly. So this time I had to have Iris take a business visa.
Okay.
So if you have a connection over there, it wasn't that difficult. That's a way. But I'm pretty sure in a few months it's gonna be open for everyone. Yep.
Well, hey, brother, that's really cool. 200 competitors in your competition, even when it's obviously trouble getting. That's amazing. Good job, brother. That clearly shows. I mean, you really made a name for yourself, and it's showing. I mean, look, you did great as a pro bodybuilder. You're doing great in business. Let's talk about that next. You got a gym. Talk to us about your gym.
We opened up the gym. Not myself, me and Iris Kyle. So we've been thinking about the gym for a while. Especially after COVID, seems like everyone is interested in more taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like everyone start realizing, I gotta be healthy. I gotta be strong, or I gotta be in shape. So seems like after everything start opening up, gym gets pretty busy, and we are thinking about opening a gym, but it took us probably a year or a year and a half to actually find the location, everything else. Obviously, after COVID, all this construction was a little behind. So it took us a while, but finally opened up last July. So it's been 9 months. And of course, me and Iris, this is our first time, being a gym owner. So everything else new. And then we both, was lack of sleeping for a while, and I was like, oh my god, this is hard. But finally getting used to it, and I actually started having more fun being an owner, and start backing into training people. So I want to start really getting back to the industry. A bodybuilding industry. That's what we are doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, brother. So for people, you're in Vegas, correct? So where?
Yes.
Obviously, let's let people know how to find you. It's tell them how do they find it to come in. So obviously, you and Iris are both very famous. People are going to want to come and train at your gym. So you're in Vegas. Tell people how to get there.
Yeah. So address is 1950 South Rainbow. It's so everyone pretty much stayed in Las Vegas Strip. So if you are in Las Vegas, for example, like for let's say Olympia, you guys staying in what hotel? Hard Rock, right? So that's from that hotel. It took probably 20. It takes 20 minutes to get to our gym. So it's not Las Vegas is pretty small. It's compact. So you can reach to our gym easy, and Instagram is Powerhouse Gym Las Vegas, and easy. You can Google Powerhouse Gym Las Vegas. It's only one in Nevada, so it's easy.
That's perfect, brother. Yep. I love it. Well, next time I come to Vegas, I'm gonna have to come check you guys out. That'd be great.
Yes, please, you guys love it. Have to check it out.
For sure. So your business venture is going well. And you're enjoying the gym business, new owner of a gym. Is it now you're basically, you said you're kind of getting back into the industry. Talk to us a little bit more about that. Are you talking just your gym or other avenues too?
Yeah. So my last show was 2020. I competed in Olympia, right? Then I actually started competing as a pro back in 2005. So it's been 17 years as a pro. Then last show I did, and I knew because I was not gonna be good because during the prep I realized like my body wasn't used to be. So I mean didn't look like it used to be. I was like a little disappointed, of course. Being 17 years as a pro, I loved being on stage, but I also realized, okay, this is probably my time, my last show, and it's to me, I felt like because it was my 10th Olympia, so which was my goal. 10th Olympia was my goal. Iris won 10 times, but I just wanted to compete 10 times, right? At least I did. So I can say it, to her. Right? So I did it, and after that, I couldn't believe it, but I had no, what do you say? I would say like passion,
motivation.
I don't have fire anymore in me. I realize it. So I couldn't believe it because when I was in my prime, like 17 years, I would never believe this day will come. Akim, you know it because you're competing right now. You're in your prime. You would never imagine you just hung your trunks on a wall, right? You would never imagine, but I was like that. But the day came, and I realized, okay, that's it. And my passion for competing was over. But I still have passion for everything else, just lifestyle, training, eating clean. All these stuff is pretty much same, but just stage. I just know now I'm the other side, just watch young guys like you guys like competing on the stage, and I'm just back to be a fan, big fan of bodybuilding.
Now something like that is a very hard decision, so like I said, I'm competing right now, so I really don't understand where you're coming from. Was it very easy to put away the trunks, or was it the decision that was really hard to make?
To me, like I said, it was naturally came from my my heart, because I don't have it, and you can't do it anymore. Like it was like weird feeling, because like I said, I was a hardcore diehard, like 110% bodybuilder, and I didn't know what else to do, right? Then but this day come, and after that is just gone. So I know you see. Probably 10 more years, 10 years after, you will see what I. It came natural.
At least you were honest with yourself. Like you looked in the mirror and you didn't like what you see, and you're like, it's time to hang it up.
100%.
Some guys, they would go until the wheel fall off, and they wouldn't want to hang it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm speaking of in terms of after I haven't competed since before Corona, and this time off, me get a little older. It's like I still want to compete. I love to compete. It's fun, but it's a different type of want.
Right.
That part of me that's willing to make sacrifices that could possibly alter my health in the future. Those parts of me kind of go to the background.
Right.
Especially as we get older. Our bodies don't they don't take all that punishment quite as well.
Well, I mean,
So
let me ask you, John, because you keep saying you're old, but you don't look like any old at all. You just said, you just said your body doesn't take any punishment, but how you can maintain that size without but how you train right now compared to when you were young?
Well, the thing about it is my training has been so different with my career. First, I started off in strength. Then I went to wrestling, and I didn't become to bodybuilding until I was 42 years old.
Wow.
And I only spent two shows at an amateur. I turned pro in my second contest. So my third ever contest was my pro debut. And so, when you get put into that level that fast, you to a certain extent you're kind of running scared. Part of the passion is to not get your ass completely fucking kicked, like that.
Wow.
And so
I didn't know that. I go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I was just saying that, like I've been on the stage with Occam before. I think it was at the Cal Pro, but I'll be totally honest. I'm a pro, but I'm not like Occam type pro. I mean, he's a What's so funny, Ock? I'm listening.
I'm listening. I appreciate the compliment, but John, at the end of the day, me and Hidetada is sitting here laughing because you're 50 years old and you pack a ton of muscle still, John.
Yes. I agree, but there's a difference between having a ton of muscle and getting on the stage and doing well with a ton of muscle. My biggest thing with bodybuilding is I either came in way too sucked up, or I never found that middle very well. I could get really sucked up and really lean, or I could miss it and I could be on the other side. And obviously to be an open pro and to be competitive, you got to find that middle, and my experience didn't really allow me I found the middle keep in mind, I was competitive as an open pro, and that's great. I didn't just place last all the time, but at the same time, I'll be realistic with myself is that after a 2-year layoff, and these new guys that are coming in, they're young and they're big and they're round. I'm just being realistic with myself. Yes, I look good for a 50-year-old, but do I think that I'm going to go back into the open class and start climbing the ranks? No, that's really what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that a better way of saying it?
Yes.
I still want to find out how you train right now.
Absolutely. My training is it's very different. It's all over the place. I train. So I'll train heavy, but then I'll also train. When I say I don't train light, the weights might be lighter, but it's still as intense as if it was heavy. So I'm always going after it. That's the key. Is that the intensity of training is always there. It's do I have to train with the intensity that allows my body to heal a little bit, or can I keep beating it up with heavier weights? When I was younger, as we all remember, when you're younger, you can train pretty much heavy all the time and your body can recover. Now it goes in cycles. I have to cycle my training. I always train, but anyway, this show's not about me. It's about you, brother. Shit.
I just want to find, because I want to, to be honest, I don't go up to the stage anymore, but it's so if I know how to maintain my size, I'll do it, but I can't. I don't want to say I can, but my shoulder is almost destroyed, last couple of years. So I have a lot of stuff cannot do anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I gotta ask a question. What kind of joint issue you have? You have any joint issue, or you?
Yeah, I've got. Ultimately, it's really that's the one thing I loved about bodybuilding. When I came to bodybuilding, it allows you to work around all your problems,
right,
you know?
right.
And so, you know, but I came to bodybuilding, I had multiple surgeries. I had a back surgery, a couple of knee surgeries. I tore a bicep off completely in the ring. And so the beautiful thing about in strength, you can't train around, you can't train around a problem, you know, you got to just, you're not going to do it. So bodybuilding just kind of allows you, like, I have some joints that are always not feeling very good. So when that's the case, I train around them. Perfect example, my shoulders, just like you're saying, you have a banged up shoulder. So I just trained shoulders 2 days back. So what I did was I basically did a whole bunch of lateral raises, just flooded my shoulders full of blood, and they were pumped up, and I really pre-fatigued them. So when I went to press, you know, 100 pounds felt like 150. I'm still putting in the effort, but the joint doesn't take that 150 type punishment. You know, it takes the 100-pound punishment. It's kind of, but yeah, and brother, I'd be happy. I'd love to talk. I mean, shit, I'm a huge fan of yours. So anytime you want to talk about training, dude, we'll get on a phone call and talk shop and shoot the shit. Absolutely. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come check you out at your gym before too long anyway. So
that would be great. Yeah, so I can see, you know, how we train. Yeah, like this, I'm always passionate, like training and watching some guys, you know, train, because I start training back in training people, training my clients. So I always, you know, like, you know, searching new information, you know, all this stuff. So yeah, I just, you know, I can't help to ask you.
You become like a student of the game again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing, just to give you a heads up, brother, the biggest thing that's helped me is my diet, because I basically keep my diet in a way that keeps inflammation down. Because as soon as we have inflammation, that's when things really flare up. And I keep my diet designed to where my inflammation stays low, and it allows me to do a little bit more in my training.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. So, brother, talk to us about, how did this all start for you? Obviously, you did 17 years, you know, as a pro bodybuilder. When did you start training? How did it all start?
So I started training for rugby. I was in rugby team in my high school. But even before that, I was always interested in like strong, like I said, wrestling. Japanese wrestling was big back then, so I was watching it. So I knew about it. And one thing I forgot to tell you, but I didn't know, because I was watching your show, your California Pro. Then I didn't know that was your pro debut. You know, like you just said it was your pro debut, right?
My pro debut was actually the Golden State. It was in Sacramento. So when I competed, I think the Cal Pro, I did that a few times. If it was the year that Occam was there, that would have been my second year.
What year did you do the Sacramento show?
So that was okay. So I got, basically my wrestling career ended in the end of 2013. I knew it was coming. So I actually started to diet during my last tour in Japan. So I came home, did my first show, which was the NorCal that was also in Sacramento. Spectrum Productions. It's Honey Rombud's production. And so that's where I basically qualified to go on to a national. I went to Pittsburgh, won there. And then that following year would have been 2015, would have been my pro debut. That was my third ever bodybuilding contest and my pro debut. And that was, I think they only did that contest one more year, and then it got canceled, unfortunately, which was a bummer.
I think I did it the previous year. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember seeing you there. I think it was the previous year I did it. I think it was in 2016 I did it, actually.
Yeah.
Or maybe maybe it was 2015. I'm not sure. I got to look back at my competition history.
Well, I remember for sure when we were together competing, it was in LA. I know that for sure.
Yeah. I remember that show.
Yeah. And he was big, let me tell you, Hottie, he was big as a house. He was huge. He was huge.
I always say to Akim, you have too much muscle. I mean, it's a compliment, but too much muscle. You know, I wish I could have it.
Oh man, we're backstage. Everybody starts dropping clothes, and everybody's eyes went to him like, holy shit, man. I mean, he was enormous, absolutely huge.
I believe that. Yeah. So
that was that.
Yeah.
Keep going,
so
please.
When I was little, I wanted to be like you, like a muscular guy. So even before starting lifting weight, I was always, like doing a push up and stuff. So then I saw myself, like a chest, like pop. So I saw myself, like a change really fast than other, kid. My of course I was training with other kid, and after rugby, I didn't want to do rugby anymore, but I just wanted to lift, right? So I found this group of people doing powerlifting and bodybuilding. So I started with powerlifting first. Then I loved it, but I was more interested in like how we look, physique. I was not really interested in how much bench I wanted to do. I could bench just like 100 kilo. I just wanted to be a muscular guy, right? So of course I started looking for a bodybuilding show. Then I was doing pretty well, like first couple shows, and I was hooked. Being on stage and just take first place or second place, it was fun to me. Then I was chosen to go to Asian Championships or Mr. Universe. So I was like, what do you say? Like Team Japan for bodybuilding. So it was kind of my dream to be something, like not professional, but something really good. I've been in sports, many sports, but I never be that good. So it was like satisfying to be represent Japan, going everywhere to compete. And one day I won Asian Championships, and after that I came in top 5 in Mr. Universe. So I remember that show. Many guys turned pro later on. For example, I forgot the name, but anyway, guys are like some Russian guys. They turn pro later. Then I competed them with them after a couple years later. But so my federation, Japanese federation, back then there was no pro qualifier. So it's kind of like if I wanted to be a pro, he said federation guy said he could give me a pro card because I won Asia and I was top 5 in Mr. Universe in the same year.
Wow.
So that's how I got the pro card. Then I came to Los Angeles to compete Ironman Pro. You remember that show, Ironman?
Yeah.
So I competed that, and that was 2005. And I realized how small I was. Back then, it was all magazine. So I read magazine, and I thought I knew how big all these guys were, but they were just enormous. And the first guy I remember I saw was Ed van Amsterdam. Do you remember this guy?
Yes.
Edward van Amsterdam. He came from Dutch, and he was almost like probably like 300 pounds on the stage, like one of the biggest guy. And I just wanted to hide. I was just.
that's how I felt with Akam in the contest. That's how I felt with he when Ak was there.
I mean, you were big enough, but I was little. I was probably like 90 kilo, not even 200 pounds. So
wow.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I just wanted to go home, on the stage. You know what I mean? So next year I came, same show, and exactly same thing happened. I just wanted to go home. Then after that, I met Mirosh Haship, and everything changed.
Everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So, I mean, you had a spectacular career as a pro. Talk to us about like one of your favorite moments as a pro. Like, what was the contest? What was the number one standout moment in your mind? Talk to us about that.
Oh yes, of course. Winning a show, I won 5 shows, right? So interesting story. Iris, she won so many shows. She don't even know what show was it. She doesn't even remember when she turned pro. Right? But I know exactly every show. But I won only 5 times, right? So of course, the biggest win was Arnold Classic 212, and that was a best moment. Best win for me. But every show I go, I was saying, I was going to win, just the attitude, right? So I'm going there to win, but there was only 2 shows I knew I was going to win. This Arnold and some other shows, I think Tampa Pro or something. I knew I was going to win. So on a stage, they announced me as the winner. I was happy, but I was more like released because I knew exactly what was going to happen. And so I was released, and I was of course happy then. But one show, I came in and I thought I was not going to be in the top 5. So I was there, and then I just wanted to have fun. Then which was 2018. So it's 2 years before I retired. So that year, I knew my body wasn't wasn't like it used to be. So I just stepped on the stage, but I won that show. So I was so shocked. Yeah. Then
that's killer.
Yeah. In a comparison, they didn't even put me in a center. I was always I wasn't in center. So I thought I probably came in second or something. I did so many seconds, so I don't remember, but probably 10 or 15 I second place. So I always get used to have second place, right? So that show I felt like, okay, I got second, and I won that show. So that's the only show I was shocked to win. But probably last 2 years of my career, I won 2 shows. So it was good gift for me.
Yeah.
17 years. So I've been many places and all over the world, and bodybuilding just gave me these opportunities. So I really thank you. It's if I wasn't bodybuilding, I wouldn't do any of these. So even in living in America, this because of bodybuilding.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember you the first time I ever saw you. I was still an amateur then. I think it was at the New York Pro. I think you came in. I think you were third. You were third that year, I think.
That year Lori went.
Yes, Lori I think.
Yeah, I came in second. That show was probably one of my best showing.
Yes, I remember you, and I remember you were not the biggest guy up there, but you definitely stole the crowd. Like everybody was so amazed at your presentation. And the way you control your body and your posing and everything like that. So that was the first time I ever saw you, and I was just like, wow. Like this guy, he was not the biggest guy, but he literally came in, and New York crowd was tough. And he came in, he literally stole the whole show.
Yeah, I love that show, crowd reaction. Because I heard, New York was really tough. You gotta be really good, and I got this. So I was really confident on the stage, and I thought I was gonna take Lori, but I was happy. Yeah.
I mean, cool. it could have been argued that you probably could have won that show. You were that good. You were that good that day.
Yeah. Thank you. But I had fun that show. Yeah.
Very cool. So, who would you say it was? Is there somebody that somebody that motivated you? Somebody that you saw that was kind of like that. That person that you strove, that you were working to be like? Was there a person that kind of set you on your path?
Well, I mean, physique-wise, I started lifting weight when Dorian was in his Mr. Olympia. So I really admire his the way of training, and I read his Blood and Guts, the book. So that's the first physique I admire. But when I came here, and of course Sean Lay, my height, and Sean Lay was everyone, wanted to be Sean Lay, my time. And when I came here, like I said, Mirosh Shashib changed my career. If I didn't meet him, I wouldn't be here. So he was my coach. He was also because I couldn't even speak proper English, so he taught me everything. How to live and all this stuff. And without Mirosh, I wouldn't be here. And who else? So any short bodybuilder like Lee Priest. Sean, I just say Sean Ray, Lita Blada, all these guys, my idol.
Yeah, very cool, brother. Well, I'll tell you, with those guys, they inspired you, and you became you had such a spectacular career yourself. I mean, you followed right in their footsteps, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, yes. Then living in this country, and of course, I'm from Japan, so Japan is also level of life is higher standard, but America is because I'm foreigner, living here. I mean, I'm not foreign. I mean, I'm American now, but a lot of I wouldn't say not grateful, but forget about how grateful this country is, right? So if I think about going, if I go back to Japan, I have I could have good living too, but for this sports bodybuilding, this country is the best, no question.
Yeah.
No other place can, make living by doing what you love. So I feel really thankful to be an American, and I just want to thank you to all Americans, to have us, foreigner opportunity in this country.
It's very true that you just said that, because one of my clients that I train, I mean, I'm not going to mention his name, but he came to this country from Pakistan, and he came here. He didn't have any citizenship and stuff like that, and he was talking about all the hardship that he had to endure to make it to where he's at, and right now he's a millionaire. And
there we go.
He's saying, he's just like, that would have never happened in any other country, for him to come here with nothing, and actually now he's at the top, he's making a lot of money and stuff like that. He's just like, he's so grateful to, being in America and, being able to give him now the opportunities that he's been given to be successful.
Oh yeah, that's the American dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, to your credit, you came here and you busted your ass. You worked hard. You did what you needed to do to become successful. Just because people come to America doesn't mean that they're going to be successful. Clearly, you basically put in the work to be successful. And that kind of leads me to my next question. What would you're very successful in everything. You're in business and competing and everything. What would try to summarize what your formula for success would be? Because we really like to inspire our listeners to become the best version of themselves. So your formula for success, we'd love to hear about that.
Right. So I think this, let's say, like, if you go on and Instagram, everyone has a dream life, right? So people tend to compare yourself to others. Then it's pressure you and like seeing somebody's really successful on Instagram, right? So it's I think a lot of young people is under pressure. I got to do something. I got to do something. But I think the important thing is just be yourself and find something you want to be or you love, and just pursue it. Like never give up, because it's marathon. It's not the sprint. Just like bodybuilding, it takes time. To me, I was thankful, to find my passion, because I see a lot of people, doing his job, just making living, right? They don't really love what they're doing, but they have to do it. But for us, we doing these things because we love, and in addition, making, provide our life. So I just for young people, of course, people watching this, interested in this industry. So if you are a good athlete, that's great. If you are not great athlete, because some people love it, but it doesn't really mean you are really good at it, but you can have a passion. Like myself, start training people. I see some people not doing well in the competition. They are more into it. They research, they study more than like some guys just doing it and just grow like crazy. So you can be good coach. You can be good like a trainer, just studying. Like so. You have many opportunity in this sports, and I think this is the best. Like because you experience your discipline, because you have to be on time. Eat this is discipline, and you in the gym and you socialize. You can't be just be yourself, right? You have to have a good team. You have to social. So this sport teach me a lot, and teach you guys a lot. So if you love this, just pursue it and don't give up. That's what I want to say.
I think the key thing that you said is to basically have a passion for whatever you're doing in life. You have to have a passion for it. You have to be in love with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's very true because if you love what you're doing, you're never really working. Because work is a term, like we all use the term work, like we work hard, but we love to work hard. If I had to get in a car and commute to a job I didn't want to go to, that would be work I didn't want to do. But we've all found a pathway in our lives where we work hard at the shit we love. So it's really not working. And sounds like that's kind of what you're saying. Is that right, brother?
Yeah. Thank you for what do you say? Put my word together.
Clarifying. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And it's great because I mean, that's one of the reasons I became such a huge fan of you, is because I could see that you understood it took the work to get there, and I don't give a damn who. I mean, I think we all feel the same way. It doesn't make a difference what somebody's doing. If they're truly working their butts off, making sacrifices, we're going to respect them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I want to say.
And for you, in bodybuilding, that was one of the things I saw and I loved about you is you were just relentless with working hard, and that's why I became such a big fan. Then you obviously became such a great bodybuilder. Your physique was amazing, but totally awesome, brother. I think that's great advice. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And on that level, a lot of times when we're in pursuit of what we're doing, pursuit of a dream, we run into big obstacles, problems that get in our way that many people will quit. So can you share some sort of a story with us where you ran into some sort of an obstacle in your path on your way to greatness, but you overcame that obstacle? And I think it's great for our listeners to hear people share about how they overcome things that don't seem like they can get through, but they get through it and they're better because of it. Can you share a story with us like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And my biggest thing was I was in trouble, and I was incarcerated for so many days. So back then I wasn't, I couldn't, like I said, I could speak English, but I didn't really was good at it. So it was hard, and it was kind of scary. Right in there, and without, I couldn't understand what people saying. So it was tough. After that moment was tough, but after that even tougher, because I sent back to Japan, right? So I had no, I didn't know if I could come back here. It was serious. So I was, trying, and finally I made it back here. And I was, grateful for everything, because probably back, when I was in trouble, I start, because that's when I was, coming up. I started doing well, so people start knowing me as a bodybuilder. So I was kind of like a, what do you say? Start thinking everything was take it for granted.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So after that, I realized, oh, shit, this thing is not, this thing is, you have to work on it. You cannot just be, sit on there and then, be comfortable and be probably I was probably a little arrogant. I have to be humble again, and don't forget where I came from, right?
Yeah.
So this incident actually later on, looking back, actually taught me a lot of stuff. So if I didn't do that, if I didn't go through that trouble, I probably did a bigger mistake, and I would probably be in there like forever, right? So I was great. Yeah. Once you experience that kind of thing, you realize how grateful just being here, like a freedom, right? Just being sitting here and doing what I want to do. It's precious, actually. It's not free. You're paying for it, right? Then if you make one wrong choice, you're not gonna be like this. So that's my learning experience, and I was fortunate I could get out, and I came back here. But a lot of people, just did a mistake and I never, make it over again, right? So you, even if you made mistake, if you live and you're still alive and do what you want to do, it's still grateful. Some people is not lucky like you. They're not here anymore. So you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So,
and when you go through something like that, like you said, you realize that, hey, this is, you have to pay for this. You have to make the right choices. You have to work hard, and then you get that second chance, and you really take advantage of it.
Second chance, yes. Yeah.
Well, brother, if you don't mind me asking, because I don't know the answer to this, and I'm sure that all of our listeners want to know too. How did you get yourself in the clink? How did you end up getting incarcerated?
So I was when I came to the LAX airport, I was caught in, of course, all these steroids in my luggage. Yeah, then they called me, and I couldn't imagine. I was probably my imagination. If I called, they would just take it and let me go. that was my thinking. I was just like naive, or I was just stupid, right? So they called me, and I was like, okay, they may probably let me go in a few hours. And I stayed there a day, and then the next thing I know, I was in a county jail. LA County jail. It was no joke. So now I can laugh about it, but at that time I was, I was I was naive. I was just I couldn't even speak English properly. Iris. Yes. This Iris here.
Well, come and say hello. Hey, Iris, how are you?
How are you doing? Good.
Come on down.
Yeah, we will.
Absolutely, for sure. You got it.
Play in the toy land with us.
We definitely will. Absolutely.
So that's what happened. But I was just stupid, and I learned a lot from that.
Well, and the beautiful thing about that is you learned and you got better because of it. And look what you did. You end up having a great career because you basically you got that second chance and you didn't let it go. That's a great story, brother.
Yeah. Then in addition, this is probably only country you can have real second chance. Other country, Japan or Europe or somewhere, it's more tradition. So it's very hard. Once you fall, you're not gonna come back. But here, people still accept you, like a second chance. So I'm also grateful to being an American. Like this second opportunity to be given.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. That's really. Thank you for sharing. That's great because that's what people, because ultimately that's a lot of times what happens. People are working hard for something. They have something goes wrong and they never recover. And it's recovering from those problems that makes you better. Nobody has a career like yours. Never having a problem. There's always problems, and you have to work through the problems.
Exactly.
So, that's really cool. Yes, absolutely. So on that level, what would you? Obviously, there are so many young bodybuilders that look at you and look at your career and just just dream that they could someday do what you did, what piece of advice would you give to the people that are trying to become bodybuilders and make a living?
Yeah, so it's a little different now, but I don't want to sound like old, but back when I started, like everything was different. I think it was a little easier if you're a top Olympian, like top 10 Olympian. It was probably a little easier to make living by doing bodybuilding. It was a sponsorship, nutrition sponsorship, magazine sponsorship. But nowadays, all these sponsorship is almost died. Like you don't really have opportunity to make real money from sponsorship. But other way around, you can promote yourself by doing social media, YouTube. So it's more opportunity. If you don't need to be a top pro, you can still make money by doing what you love, like YouTube, all this stuff. So I would say there is more opportunity now. So you of course you have to be like, you don't need to be really smart, but you have to always
creative.
think about it. Yeah. Then I was a little guilty because I couldn't understand the transition. So YouTube, I started real late because I was a little, I didn't think it was that big, but YouTube is really huge right now. Then I actually started it seriously like 2 years ago, and it's actually making myself even more well known in Japan because I'm doing YouTube in Japanese language. So I was like, oh wow, right now if I go to Japan, many people on the street look at me and then are saying, oh, that's a YouTube guy. They don't say I'm bodybuilder. They're gonna say me as a YouTube guy. So these kind of opportunity, obviously, if you look for it, you can have it. So that's if you want to make living by doing bodybuilding or physique or whatever the category you are, that's the opportunity, and you can have it. If you're passionate about it.
Yeah, that's great advice because that's the truth. I mean, obviously, to have a passion and work for it and to make a living actually makes it something that you can pursue for into your adult life. Obviously, I think every youngster has a dream of being some sort of an athlete, but then the question is, can they make a living doing it? And now what you're saying is totally true in bodybuilding with social media. All you've got to do is like Ox said, be creative and find a way to market yourself, and you can make a living doing what you love. So that's another great piece of advice.
Right.
This is really good information, brother, because our listeners, this is the kind of stuff they want to hear.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is your take on, obviously, you 17 years as a top bodybuilder? Talk to us a little bit about judging, because obviously judging is always kind of an interesting topic because as time goes on, the judging kind of changes. There was the period where guys got really big, and then obviously there was too much of a distended stomach, and then so kind of give us your take on the judging.
Yeah, that's a tough question. Always judging, because I never really thought how difficult it will be, being a judge. I was always being judged, so I was like, okay, whatever. Sometimes I was complaining about it, but once I started judging my show, I realized, Jesus, right? So, yeah. So to me, like the level of guys, you guys stand on 10 guys on a stage, it looks like the difference is this much, but you have to put somebody in the first, somebody in the 10. So that's a tough job, and I would understand. After any show, there are controversial things, about judging, and I understand that because now I know how difficult it is. And another thing, it's not really judging, but all the things people saying after the show, based on the picture, right? So
yeah.
Internet, you see the picture right away, and then people start talking. Oh, this guy's why this guy's winning, and this guy's should have win, blah blah blah, right? But to me, on a stage and from the judge's seat, it looks totally different from picture, right? So and you guys sometimes experience guy looks really good on a picture, doesn't mean look he looks good on a stage, because every movement, like just this, but you have to have like this, like transition movement, something he has like attract the judges, right? So it doesn't show in a picture. So I'm always after the show, people start talking about this blah blah blah. I don't care about it, because this is a totally different topic, and I think we have to kind of explain them or let them know this is totally different world. Just seeing a picture and being there and from the judge's seat, that's a totally different world. People just don't forget about it. I think like as competitor, we know on a stage it's a totally different world from a picture, right?
Yeah.
And a judging myself, I would judge pretty fairly. So I never really. I have a complaint a couple of times, but it's funny if I complain something on Instagram, next day you got a phone call. I don't think, but that's how sensitive it will be, like judging. So I realized, okay, you shouldn't talk about it, because I'm the promoter right now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't do that, but I understand, the guys, because the guys come in and after 12 weeks of sacrifice, you wanna win. Everyone wants to win, but only one guy can win. That's a tough sport.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, like you brought up a really good point, is that it's not just how a guy looks when he's set in his pose. He's got to transition to the next one. How did he look during that transition? Because maybe two guys look really similar in their pose. In the transition, one guy looked a lot better than the other. Well, the judges are going to see that.
Yeah, exactly. And you could feel the aura. Like it's some. I'm sounds like stupid, but if somebody step on a stage, some guy has something attract the judges. You have to look at him. I don't know what it is, but some guy has it. I think they are champion.
Yeah. Well, that's very insightful. Yeah, the judging is always an interesting topic, and that's one thing that I always try to tell people when people talk to me about judging and unfairness. I said, look, you got into a sport where you knew that you were going to be judged by another person. People aren't perfect. They're doing the best job they can, and you have to be okay with the outcome, whether you like it or not. That's the way the sport is. It's not like a lifting contest where whoever lifts the most wins. It's a presentation of physique,
right? Exactly.
So there's so many elements that people just don't take enough. They don't understand enough about judging. So I think the way you explain that is really helpful. I think people will see a lot more into that. That's really cool, brother.
It's best way is let people judge the show, and then they will know.
There we go. I love it. That's cool. So here's a question, for you, brother. You've had this great career. Now if you could take yourself right now and go back in time and talk to your younger self, how far back in time would you go, and what would you say? What piece of advice would you give yourself?
I will probably going back to 2005, where I started competing as a pro. Then I would tell myself, your prime wouldn't be too long. So you gotta put 110% right now. So that's what I realized. I looking back, I did my training, I did my diet, but I didn't do enough recovery, right? So recovery, that's the only thing I could change if I could go back to a couple years. So because I realized between 2005 and 2000 probably 10 or 11, that was my prime. My body was good, like size wise I could be bigger later on, but I was really looking back fresh, like body is different. So I talked to some guys like top pros. They say same thing. They was probably smaller the first few years of the pro, but body was just fresh, just like pop. So I would just tell myself, just do 110% include recovery, so you could really embrace your true potential.
So what would you do with recovery? What type of things would you have done more of in terms of recovery?
Sleep is the basic. You have to sleep. Right? Then I would do like more body work. Back then I was kind of ignoring body work, and I could training wise, I was training hard, but I probably training a little careless for my joints. Thankfully, I was really flexible, so I never got injury. But I could do probably better. All these aspects makes my prime little longer. So I realized around like 2013, my body wasn't responding. Then I thought it was diet or training. So I tried many things, but never came back where it was in like a few years back. So I'm analyzing myself. Probably that was my prime body wise, like body conditioning wise. So a lot of guys probably, Akim, you realize, probably you're in your prime, but probably a few years after, you start feeling like something is different, right? So that was your, like body wise. I don't say your body is not competitive anymore. You could be harder. Like later in my career, I could get really hard. I didn't have that roundness anymore. So that's what I mean. So your body is changing constantly, but overall, I think my prime was a few years after my pro debut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So basically, if you'd paid more attention to recovery, it probably would have taken that prime and extended a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think anybody who has put in a lot of work with lifting weights or training hard would agree with that. Is that when we're younger, we don't quite understand what it's going to feel like when the body goes through that first transition and feels different. It's the difference between 25 to 30 is a little noticeable. 30 to 35 is pretty okay. There's no question something happened. 35 to 40, it's like, okay, I need to change something to stay at this level.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it just kind of keeps going forward. Yeah, that's great information right there, brother. So, well, brother, we've had you here for almost an hour, and we really appreciate your time. But one more question before we wrap it up. You've had such a great career, and especially in Japan. I mean, when I was over there wrestling, I was a big guy, so people asked me if I knew who you were because you were so famous in Japan. This is back, obviously. I wasn't even in bodybuilding at that point. So you're a legend. You're a living legend, brother. I mean, especially in Japan, people look at you and they're just yes. So my question is, you've had such a big impact with competing and everything you're doing. But when you're gone, what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, that's a good question. Well, So when I was competing, I didn't really think I was. I didn't want to famous, but I didn't really think I was well known, but because I was always here. I've been always here in the States. So then when I come back to Japan, I was shocked. On the street, just not bodybuilder people, just regular people noticed me. So I was like shocked, and I was, again, like bodybuilding it's really made me everything, possible for me. So I was really thankful. But answering your question, of course, I wanted to be remembered as an Olympian competitor and an annual classic champion. But I kind of going back what I said, just I wanted to be humble and known as a generally good person, right?
Yeah.
So people say, okay, let's ask what do you think about Hide? And I don't want people talk about, oh, that guy is just big but blah blah blah, right? I want people remember me big, but more than big, he's a good person, right? Good general person, right? So
Yeah.
I want to be humble. I want to be loyal. This is my motto. Doing everything, or even a business. I think this loyalty and like what do you say? True to be yourself is very important. Doing just basic stuff, but doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Well, that's really great to hear, brother, because obviously everybody's going to remember what you did, but you want them to remember that you're a great person.
You forgot one thing. Yeah. You also want to remember one of the best poses.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
for
that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, brother, we really want to thank you for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and we know your time's valuable, so we really want to thank you for sharing some of your time with us and some of the great things that you shared. Our listeners are going to love to hear it. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
Yeah. No, man. It's been a pleasure, and
thank you.
I definitely got to come out and visit the gym, and I definitely want to come out there and visit the gym with you and Iris, and possibly get a workout in.
yes, please. And I can't forget thank you to my longtime sponsor, Rich Gaspari and Gaspari Nutrition. Yes. I've been with Gaspari since 2009, so it's been a long time, and we just launched the Hidetada Yamagishi line in Japan, only in Japan. So Gaspari is
cool.
Doing great in Japan. I've been promoting Gaspari over 10 years, but finally, it's getting more notice in Japan. So thank you for Rich Gaspari for supporting me this long, and of course this Olympia, December week before Christmas, right? So you guys come here to train.
Yes.
And I won't be training with you guys, but I want to see you guys train. And I just, watch you guys as a fan. That's why.
Brother, just so you know, I'm always going to be one of your fans. You're in my book. You're the coolest, brother. And it's been so much fun talking with you today. And we're definitely going to have you back on the show, brother, because we talked about a few things, but there's so much more we can talk about. So again, we want to thank you for your time. There's another edition of Legends of Iron, everyone. Again, we are here to inspire you and help you become the best versions of yourself. And some of the things that Hetty shared with us today, I'm sure are going to resonate with you guys and help you be motivated to be the best you can be. There's another edition of Legends of Iron. We will see you next time.
Legends of Iron is brought to you by Muscle Mix. Muscle Mix is the creator of Carnivore Pure Beef Protein Isolates. Beef builds muscle, and Carnivore is the world's #1 selling beef protein.
And don't forget to try our new Carnivore flavor, Rocket Pop.
Oh, damn! Whoa, this is it right here.
Wow, is this protein? Delicious.
This is too good to be protein. Woo, we about to change the game with this one.
You're gonna love it.